second thing I would tell you about is the interconnectivity I mentioned. And what I mean by that is this. I grew up in New York, like Marty. My hero growing up, believe it or not, was a basketball player. His name was Billy Donovan. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was a basketball coach now at the University of Florida. Billy grew up in New York, and he was a few years older than me. And the guy was about as athletic as I was, which doesn't say much. And he made it to play in college, and I looked at him, and I actually went to a basketball camp when he was a coach when he was in college. You know, he didn't know me, but he said to me, like, hey man, if you want to make it, you can play in college. I took that very seriously. You know, I did the best I could, I think, although I think I could have done a lot more now looking back to make myself a better player. It's not fun to live with that. You wish you could have done more. But I went on to play at a small college. Really didn't know who the heck I was. But when I was in college and I needed some advice about what to do with the rest of my life, I called him. He was an assistant coach here, and he played with Knicks, the guy that played in the NBA for a few years, believe it or not. And really overachieved. He wasn't a great player, great athlete. And I called him up when I was in college, and I said, hey, you want some advice about my life? You don't know me, but I always admired you. He spent some time with me, gave me some advice, forgot about me, moved on. Fast forward a bunch of years later, I went to law school, and I didn't love practicing law. You know, it was interesting, but it wasn't my passion. I wanted to get back into sports. And I called Billy Donovan up, and he was now the head coach of Florida, University of Florida. And I said, hey, you know, I'm trying to be a sports agent. I'm recruiting this guy in Turkey. And I don't know if I'm going to make it. A lot of guys want to be sports agents. I don't know, you know, I know a lot about sports. I know a lot about the law and contracts, but I don't know if I'm going to be successful at this. And you don't know who I am, but I'd love to come talk to you. And he gave me a few minutes of his time. I flew down to Florida. I met with him. He gave me a few minutes of his time. He said, hey, you know, you're not ready for one of my big-time players because you don't have a lot of experience, but there's a guy who I think can play in Europe that you seem passionate. I'm going to, you know, advise him to talk to you about representing him. So he gave me a shot, and actually, the year I represented Hito, I represented one of Billy's players who went on to play in Europe. And, you know, I tell you that story only because you're sitting here in this room today. It was May 10th, 2009. Someone up here could be your Billy Donovan. Maybe one of these guys sitting next to you. Someone up here could give you a shot down the line, give you a connection, give you an opportunity you don't even know was out there. So I would tell you two things. One, about adversity and fighting through it. And two, about not missing an opportunity to build relationships with people. You don't know who's going to help you, who's going to be there for you, who you can reach out to. You may call 5 of us and we may not get back to you if you want some help. The 6th guy might. And having those relationships and connecting with people and asking for help along the way is going to be critical to your success.